what you gonna do if it don't work out? It ain't about if it makes sense. 'Cause if the voodoo it don't fit. As far as I can see, there ain't no way to be somebody if you just gon' quit. So if you gotta fight, don't lose it. If you gotta do it, die, dream, do it. If you got something to prove, go on, prove it. Don't let nobody clip your wings. Keep your head down, keep on the blinders. Tune out the doubters and all the close minders. If it's in your blood, falling down ain't enough to change who you were born to be. Get back up, that's the only backup plan you need.
The floor of BTC, is it going to climb from here on out? So it's definitely something that we're going to keep track on. So you guys definitely want to keep the bell notification on. We're going to look at the chart on the SpaceX ticker as well, and actually show you some sites that you guys can check it out. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, but we got Hyperliquid right here where you guys can get a piece of this. And I think, like I said, not financial advice, but I think getting an action on it on the future side could probably be more beneficial because there's like token lockups and all that kind of stuff going on with Spcx, a ticker that we're going to get used to saying, breaking records on the NASDAQ, massive announcement on this thing. And also not just that, but he launched a rocket at the same time. If you want to talk about crypto bro kind of feels, that is going to be going down in history. I don't know any other company that's going to be able to break a record like that and say, you know what, as a celebration, we're also going to launch a rocket at the same time. And from what I heard from a lot of great people, that it looked absolutely amazing. So appreciate you, Darren, pulling up, everybody that's pulling up. If you guys can repost this on your X account, like and repost, leave some comments, go to YouTube, leave some comments, go over to the pump.fun live stream and also leave some comments on there, engage across the board. We'll talk about BTC, ETH, all the blue chips, the alts that we love, of course. We're going to talk about XPX, absolutely, because we're looking pretty good. We got people snatching up the supply left and right because, man, we got utility coming out for the rest of the year. We're already working on 2027, and that's the thing. When you see Bitcoin's price fluctuating like it has, I think taking a page out of like Feg Token's book, focusing on infrastructure, focusing on building is probably where you're going to find a lot of success, and yeah, we're going to check out some things. I appreciate you guys pulling up really, really strong right away. You guys are absolutely amazing. But let's jump into the overall crypto market cap. And obviously we got, SpaceX perps, and it's going to be like kind of like what a lot of people are going to be talking about for a little bit. And what's cool is that you're seeing, where crypto can tap into this right away. This is the crypto is no longer now just on this scam radar or this like, I don't know, but crypto's giving people direct access to maybe people who didn't know how to get into the IPO. Maybe they wanted to not want to hold the SPCX tokens in the lockup and be able to trade it right when it went live. And Hyperliquid and really crypto is the one facilitating the infrastructure, right? The infrastructure. And this is a proof that I could see Hyperliquid doing really good and other platforms, that adopt this philosophy as far as, allowing, crypto people or us, direct access to maybe where the IPO thing would have been not something attainable for most people, right? For whatever reason it might have been. But right here, you got Hyperliquid trading right here. You got, news all over the place. You got the overall crypto market cap at $2.18 trillion market cap. And you got whales loading up on SpaceX perp, but you also got Bitcoin making a solid floor, right? Like, Bitcoin's back into this making a floor kind of situation. And maybe this whole little fall from grace on a 4-hour chart. This is what we've been looking at it. We've been looking at it on a 4-hour chart. You're not missing too much. Forget the Lambo today. Let's get the Lambo for sure. And forget about maybe getting a Lambo in one day. Forget the maybe Lambo. Like, hey, zoom out. Let the markets do what it got to do. Things are going to go into rotation and they're going to rotate back into some of your favorite plays. You don't have to wait for that. You could short some of the markets. You could long some of the markets. This is entirely up to you, and definitely do your own research. Find something that works, start a paper account, start a demo account, and practice in that manner. And prove to yourself that you can be profitable for a whole month before you even start an actual account. And maybe that could be your first steps as your first goals before you start taking this thing even that much more seriously. And you could do it while you're doing your regular job, while you're holding your conviction play. Start a demo account, start doing trades on a 4-hour time frame, on the 2-hour moving average, and not miss out on, would you have missed out waiting on this 200 moving average potential right here? No, not at all. Would you have missed out on this right here? Just being patient. And this is those moves on those higher time frames that you can catch when it comes to things like the 4-hour chart, the daily chart, and overall just being very patient in the market. And I think we can all say that, some of this was, of course, bound to happen, but we can't say that overall that SpaceX IPO did not, turn into the rotation play, right? Because obviously it broke a record for a reason. It didn't break the record on accident. The numbers are showing you that it broke a record, and some might say it's manipulated, whatever it might be. We're not going to put that on right now. We're not going to do that. But at the end of the day, it broke some records, right? And it shows that a lot of money rotated, maybe even out of AI, for sure, most likely out of crypto. And now you're seeing where, okay, now that thing's starting to stabilize, but where are people going to start getting action from that? Through the cryptocurrency market. If people are getting curious and they're seeing all this new news, it's thanks to things like Bitcoin, the infrastructure of cryptocurrency, the DEXs, the blockchains that facilitate, like always, giving the everyday person exposure to the opportunity. If studied correctly, if done correctly, not chasing everybody, you could probably do pretty well, right? And this is something that we're going to talk about. On Hyperliquid, it started at a way higher price compared to what it started off over here when it launched. Obviously up here, we're showing 150. We're on Hyperliquid, is a lot higher on the perps, but we'll jump into all that. But Bitcoin right now definitely making a floor. This is a section that we'll keep a section we'll keep an eye on, even when it comes to the daily chart. But a lot of the talk right now is going to be a little bit of the SpaceX, but we are in an area where, okay, this is cool. We can handle this because we've handled this before, right? And this is that price action coming all the way down to 59K like we did, just like before. And then we consolidated, had an uptrend that turned into getting rejected on the 200 moving average. So even if you wanted to chill out on the 4-hour chart and eventually seeing this play out on the daily chart, you're good. You've already been through this. You've already done this, right? You already, crawled under the barbed wire. You already climbed the wall with the rope. You already done that. And, got to the top of the wall and said, you know what, I'm gassed out. And that's okay. But I think that this is a perfect example of patience in the market that we got to do. Darren, everybody who's continuously pulling up Saphir, the XPX community is not just always about XPX. It's about, I rock with my subscribers really, really tough, and I rock with my community, the same way. And, there's got to be moments where it's not just pump it up, right? And obviously those moments are going to come because rotation, what goes around comes around. It's going to happen again. You just got to wait your turn. Be patient. It's the merry-go-round. You're going to get your ticket, get your ticket, right? And, maybe you're buying your ticket on BTC on this support that we're finding on the daily chart. Maybe most likely you're going to be a little bit of a trader that's going to wait for an actual confirmation on the 4-hour chart, leading you into that trade into the daily chart to see if BTC. And it's going to look real simple. We study this on a regular basis. I also want to give a big shout out to Blunt House, man. You guys definitely give that man a follow. There's been some shorts trades that I pulled off in the last week, and it's been, some of the stuff that, I repeat some of the stuff he says to me, like I'm over here doing a seance at times, so, hold your trade, trust it when you're in it, trust your chart, trust your pattern, first mouse, second mouse, because it gives you that ability to get disconnected and be indifferent from price. Before, the love and passion for BTC can get you caught up that if the price is never going up, now you're freaking bummed out, right? And it's like, no. Is there an opportunity when everybody's bummed out? And that's a big thanks to at Blunt House. You guys go give him a massive follow. Join his Telegram, because a lot of that being indifferent to price and disconnecting from, obviously, I know Bitcoin's long term. I know this technology is just getting started. But, in the current times, in the current moment, are there times that we can, get in where we fit in essentially. And if you're wanting to look for that daily chart trade where that trend is an actual support and you're just going to be patient, then do what it did last time. Just wait for it to get above this, 4 hour 200 moving average to see this momentum get them up there. And what last time we did that and we were patient, solid. I mean, you never heard nobody said, damn, I played it too safe, right? So better safe than sorry. I think it's you guys can put it in the books as one of those real sayings because we did that on the daily chart as a community, as everybody on the channel on X that really rocks with me, everybody in the XPX community. We did that together right here. Were we excited when this market was pumping up? Yeah. But I mean, how can we turn the cheek on patience now when we were excited, of course, but we were like, let's just, hey, what's up, Piston? Make sure you guys repost the page and stuff like that. Definitely going to show your guys' projects off, man. This is going to be kind of like a fire episode. You definitely want to get your communities in here engaging. We got exciting things for XPX as well. Obviously, it's no secret. 8 days, $1 million virtual card goes live. You guys can sign up with your passport, making things a lot more faster and seamless. Whoo, let's go. And but yeah, patience is the name of the game at times. And you can't, when you start to see a yield from it, it's like, okay, like I said, if I can go back to the beginning of time and change that patience didn't have to give you the virtue and it could have been something a lot easier, I would for all of us. But it does bring a yield, right? And it showed us and it protected us from when all this excitement was going on. So let's wait for the first mouse, second mouse, get the squeeze type of thing, right? Shout out to Blunt House. The Blunt House, a little bit of philosophy didn't work out for us right there. That's that wisdom, those 10,000 hours that you could do and read whatever book you want for TA, but sometimes that wisdom, you gotta appreciate that when somebody's dropping that. They say the game is sold, not told. And when somebody's just giving you that free game like that, and you're seeing it where it actually plays out, man. And we're gonna share Blunt House's page as well. A matter of fact, we'll go to it right now because hopefully we can ring his ear enough and mention him enough that it's happened before. You guys ever done that before? You talk about somebody so much, and next you know, you get that phone call. So I'm gonna do you guys a solid. This is some alpha that I'm gonna give all of you guys. This is where some of that alpha, some of that philosophy came from. To while the markets were going up, and we are all on the same page, excited, man, totally hip for it. Rocking together, moving up, like let's go. But we're like, let's be patient. Let's wait for some confirmation. Let's trust the chart, right? Let's follow the paper trail and work in that manner. And yeah, we're excited for Bitcoin, of course. But could it come back down to the point of control? And this is where we first aimed, which is wild because that price seemed super far away when I was saying that. Up here, once we started getting rejected, I say, hey, pissing, excuse me. Maybe we want to look down here for 68,000. And that seems super far away, from, getting rejected on this 81,000. And then boom, comes down to the 68,000 that we were talking about. And not only that, but solidifies that time and price likes to hang out together. And once it broke through the point of control, shout out to Blunt again, it broke through that. And we got this from my man, the Blunt House 420, man. So give that man a follow where we can identify this and see this and be like, you know what? Look at time and price, like two hopeless romantics, can't get enough of each other. Look at them hanging out, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a hopeless romantic. We can rock with that. I think everybody's seen The Notebook. Let me know in the chat if you watched The Notebook, and don't lie, everybody. Don't be too like if you never watched The Notebook. Let me know in the chat. Be honest. Be honest. All right. So this is what we're going to talk about for Bitcoin right now. If we can get above this 68,000, start to march up, right around this section where back over 70, where it's starting to flip some of this stuff green and go towards this 200 moving average, that'd be pretty good. And you know what? It would coincide a little bit. Not that it has. Okay. Yes, of course. Okay. We got some real men standing up. You got to be able to wear your heart on your sleeve, man. He said, "Oh yes, of course." How many people have seen it more than once? No. He said, "Rico, now you're digging way too deep. Now you're now you're going a little bit too far. Give me the crypto alpha, right?" But we'll be looking at 68,000 and seeing if we can come back up to 80,000 on BTC. And we'll talk about SpaceX a little bit more. I know some people might be pulling up for that on X, especially since we're using one of the hottest tickers trending all over the place. And this stream actually has that ticker in there. I know people are like, yo, are we talking about crypto? Are we talking about SpaceX? It's like, give me a minute. We're going to talk about SpaceX. We're gonna get into more SpaceX, but I think this is where we could say maybe that whole rotation out of crypto has happened already, chasing that IPO, and where people are now, because of things like hyperliquid, and thanks to things like, I don't know, cryptocurrency, giving the average person just direct access through perps on Spcx, and actually not having to wait for no token unlocks, not having to be locked up for, the freedom to trade the tokens. There had to been some refunds and stuff like that, I heard and stuff. So, right now you can get in and you can get out of Spcx and see, are you shorting it? Is it inflated? Is there more downside than upside? And as people take the profits from Spcx and there's exposure through crypto, is some of that going to cycle back into crypto and pump things back up? This would be areas where we would want crypto to make a bold statement and actually start to march back up on really whatever you're looking at, right? You're seeing right here with ETH on the weekly chart, which is where we got to zoom out to kind of get a good idea on it, because we're just looking backwards, right? And we see buyers and sellers shaking hands all throughout here. We're not making up the rules. We're just following the script. That's it. That's it, fam. And if we broke past this is where we got to look a little bit further left and be like, okay, we're not fighting that. We're not fighting the idea that if it broke underneath this and it came down here, that's not a realistic thing, right? Because obviously it's been holding out for this for dear life, and it's been a area where it's important to what the buyers and sellers feel. Okay, a lot of stuff has to do with our feelings. All right, so it's okay. All right. So this is the price where we're looking out for, and we're making sure that we're being cautious when it comes to any little upticks in the current market on the shorter time frames, really eyeing some of the potential downside on higher time frames. And over here for ETH, we got something that most people wouldn't want to talk about. It's a little bit underneath $900 Ethereum, but we would have to be a little bit cautious if ETH started to break under 1600, and maybe that round number getting closer to 1500 could scare people and be like, oh, it's going down to 1,000. And, if it came over here, kind of like the other stuff did, maybe we have another example. We're not taking these things personal. We're indifferent to price. Maybe the market, because like, shout out to Blunt again, right? If mathematics is a language, then isn't this just trying to communicate with you? If you're trying to interpret this communications of numbers put together, and it's a mathematical language, well, it's nothing to get personal about. It's not snickering at you, right? You got to check yourself on how you feel about things, right? So it's like, hey, Rico, hey, Pisson, hey, Prophet Bear, I see you. Hey, Darren, I might be going a little bit lower. This is not to take it personal. This is to say, hey, I can trust this thing, and not all the time, right? But there's going to be times where this level of communication with this chart is going to give me possible outcomes to where time and price can hang out again, because it's done this before. It's said this to me before, right? So this is where I would have downside risk looking at, and just being bold about it, right? Just being absolutely bold. And if things change and we see some more, this changing on the daily chart, we getting over the attack in this point of control coming up to $2,000 ETH, then hey, we're indifferent to price. We change our topic really quick and we're like, okay, cool. We got 4-hour consolidation. The price went down. It traded to the right. Maybe the next thing it's going to trade is up, right, down and up. So it's not a guarantee, but we'll see. Maybe there's a test at the very least going up to 2,000 to see if it can, and maybe reject it once again. And we're going to keep track of price together as these things are, happening as they happen. XRP fam, man, I've been seeing a lot of XRP people down and out. It's still the same XRP, man. The prices go up, prices go down, XRP family. That's just what happens. That's a natural thing that happens, okay? So, are you going to stop being bullish on XRP? No, even the Mona Lisa, Bitcoin, from 126 falling from grace, down to, did the protocol change? Did something happen? No. This is about conviction right now, and you can't say these fancy things in the crypto space and think that you're not going to get tested. Hey, I appreciate that, Prophet Bear. I really do. The more people we reach, the more people we can help to have longevity in this market. It's not only about making money in this market. is like, can you preserve your money in this market? Is another like, does anybody even talk about that? Are we even talking about that? And I think this is where conviction comes in. The same conviction you had on XRP when it was pump it up. You got to have that same conviction down here. It's on the fire sale. This is not the end for XRP. This is not the end for Bitcoin. This is not the end for Ethereum and especially these top ones, right? I know there's talks and I've seen some of the stuff, right? I watch and I've met some of these people at some of these conferences, Altcoin Daily, and I've seen some of these things that people talk about where like some of the stuff, some of the layer twos are struggling or whatnot. But you gotta give these things that are building infrastructure time. These, if they're still building and pushing forward, that says a lot, right? That really does say a lot. Things will get their moment. A lot of people didn't think XRP was going to get their moment. A lot of people thought that Cardano was going to trade at, underneath $1 forever, and they were held underneath water. Same thing with XRP. How long was it held underneath water for so long until eventually you had, that explosion that it had, right? So again, you're seeing where rotation is the nature of the space at times, but your conviction play is where you want to accumulate. You want to accumulate. So when that does happen, and especially if it's something that hasn't happened, it hasn't really had that breakout. It's like it's just getting primed. That thing's just getting primed up. So XRP fam, looking at this 4-hour chart, which I think it's important for us to definitely keep an eye on. This is where you start changing the topic. If you would have changed bearish and just shorted XRP, you could have bought more XRP down here, right? Because this short entered at 141 and XRP came all the way down to $1 something, which we talked about, and it sounded super far away. We actually said $1.10. And it went lower. This is where we were talking about. This is why it's important to share this channel. It's not just about the pump it up. It's about preserving the moolah, baby. And this is where we were talking like, hey, this is an area that just kind of like how we're talking to the other ones. If it broke through that, could you handle saying that, ETH could go lower, right? And you've seen this, like, hey, this is an area where we got to really hold on. If we don't hold on, how low can we go? You got to look backwards. Boom. Where can we go? And a lot of this stuff, why? Because this is all fairy dust right here. Today's a Blunt House inspired theme stream because a couple 200% shorts and things like that linking up. It's like this is where this stuff matches. This is all fairy dust right here. It's got to come fill it back up with some real buyers and sellers, not just exponential just fluffed up. So this is where we find ourselves again, filling all this up and coming to where time and price has been before. And maybe this is the floor for XRP. If it went past this is where you got to say, hey, I'm staying in that short if you're somebody who's shorting it. Or, hey, I'm looking at the weekly chart and I don't like the downside risk to the point of control. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking how far the 53 cents, so, even on the weekly chart, you got to say, hey, I love my XRP, but is somebody in a aggressive short going to be super patient and come down to 52 cents on a weekly chart? And if we get into like some serious bear market conditions, you could see something like that. But I think even this SpaceX thing is going to bring a lot more exposure to crypto. And I think IPOs like this and people wanting direct access to this is going to be another way that crypto builds that infrastructure that retail wants to interact with. Why? Because it's providing something. That's really what it comes down to. People want the opportunity to make some money. Maybe they couldn't do it another way, couldn't get, an actual trading account. Well, guess what? There's like no freaking red tape around you getting some crypto and getting a hyperliquid account, not condoning or saying that you should, but VPNs do exist. And this is the freedom that crypto has always promised us. And, a lot of people faded crypto multiple times, but look at the infrastructure that has been built around cryptocurrency and what it has done for people as far as being able to get exposure to things that at times for the average person would seem completely out of reach, right? So, pay attention to those builders, and XRP is going to keep building. We're going to see plays keep building. There's going to be times it goes up and times it goes down. Right now it's going down. All right. BNB showing, how important it is and giving you an example why it's holding on to this because it sees that downside. But BNB we know has a mind of its own, but it is holding right here. It is holding on that 200 moving average on the daily chart. And we're going to go to the lower time frames because BNB actually does a good job. Not today, bro, but definitely tap in with the channel. There's going to be some things coming. We're focusing on the giveaway right now. I mean, on not the giveaway, but the launch. And actually, there's a lot of things cooking, man. There's a lot of things cooking, and the giveaway just turns into a whole nother task. So I got my task manager right now, and everything that we're cooking right at optimal level with non-existent sleep schedule. You know, whenever I crash, I crash. Whenever I'm done with the crash, and I just like, well, I'm back. So here we go with the daily chart, you know, giving us that boom underneath the 200. And same thing with the 4 hour, giving us massive, I mean, ample amount of time to be like, okay, we're underneath here. So it's probably going to go lower, right? And there's when it gets back above that, then it's easier to be a lot more bullish on it. So we're waiting for crypto again. We're in this patient time again for crypto, which is fine. I mean, it does do pretty good being patient. And you know, do like one of one of our holders, Mr. Vo. He got a beautiful picture he sent us in the Telegram. You know, if you got a solid conviction play, you know you can do your daily job, whatever you're doing. You can take care of your kids, you can take care of your family, you can go on a quick little getaway, and your bag's going to be there, right? Because we're still waiting on crypto to prove itself, you know, whether it's conviction plays, utility plays, NFT projects, metaverses. You know, we want that euphoric sensation to come back into cryptocurrency, and where everybody's talking about it all over again, everywhere that you see, all social media platforms, influencers, even the ones that you couldn't believe. I was shocked when Bitcoin was pumping. A lot of influencers, these like live streamers that do live streams. I was shocked how many of them, when crypto first started going down, they started feeling it. I was like, oh wow, you're like vocally talking about how it feels that you held so much ETH and it's going down. And it was like somebody that I would have not expected to be holding that much cryptocurrency where, you know, with ETH going down, it was like they had to vent about it, right? So we got BNB right here. This is where we're going to be being patient for this 200 moving average, breaking above this, then breaking past this price right here, where we see BNB at $760. All right, let's keep it moving because we do want to jump into SpaceX. You guys, let me know if you guys are you guys thinking about shorting it, longing it, hyper liquidating it? What are you guys going to do? Again, another great example of trusting your chart right here, and being indifferent to, yeah, we're bullish on Solana, but when we're seeing all this, and we're seeing eventually where we get a sell signal, it's like, okay, even if you didn't take the trade right here and you're waiting just to be safe, so you're like, I don't want to get a quick little bounce because crypto's funny. I want something else to be that confirmation. It would be this right here, all these previous lows and whatever candle you wanted to that closed, and it could have finished all the way, the timer run all the way out on the daily chart the very next day. You place a short and you could have just been patient, and that was a winning trade right there. Right. So you're seeing this pattern, whether you call it Solana, Mama, whatever it is, BNB, XRP, you and me, it doesn't matter. If it starts to play out this little pattern right here, you already know what's to come, right? And that's another thing, not getting, whether it's Solana or your favorite chain, BNB chain, whatever it is, it's like whatever that thing is, if it shows me that pattern, that's it. That's what that produces, right? And I'm not here to rewrite the rules. I'm following the script. I see the script. Like, yeah, how come I can see this happen a lot of times on other stuff? And then you get some of this stuff happening. So where is going to be the area for us to get back bullish? Well, back above this, going back towards the point of control, $77 Solana. And like I said, we're going to see as price settles on this, SpaceX launch, is it going to be where we see, some money coming back into crypto, some people using crypto, getting more exposure to crypto because, hey, they want to get exposure to SpaceX. And they're like, you know what? I got to get on Hyperliquid. I got to get on this DEX, or I got to get on that DEX. I'm getting this VPN. I'm not going to miss out on this. And, this is where we're seeing a lot of volume come into this. And, this thing is proof of what cryptocurrency can do. It's super powerful. And, you got Hyperliquid right here where you guys can say, hey, maybe this is the floor right here. And people are holding because, everybody's going to be chasing $200 on, that's the topic right now. Can it go to $200? I've been hearing it everywhere. So, sometimes you got to listen to the space, and you'll see where like the overall, how the sentiment feels about this thing. But this is the chart that we're working with. This is a brand new chart that we get to start off brand new today, marking history, and we're here together holding hands. Look at that. We're hanging out. But if you look at this, it's like it is starting with what somebody could say, like myself using this indicator, which when I looked at it when it first launched this morning, it wasn't even showing, right? It was just nothing. And then, it kind of showed up a little bit later. But we're starting off where there's, sell pressure existent, right? And where the 200 is up here. And that's what everybody's shooting for. But we even got now the next part of the indicator, which is that red trend line. We're actually above it. And if we can get underneath that red trend line, this is on a 5-minute chart, super degenerate, right? And getting underneath this, trend line, it could make this like where there's a potential short, because a lot of these things, when they pump up like this, especially having the power of crypto right now, you have the freedom to kind of be like, you know what, we'll see. I can zoom out and put some indicators on and wait to see what pops up. And until I get some actual information, this is a 1-minute chart. You got your 200 moving average finally just starting to come up, because now there's been over 200 candles, right? Before that, there wasn't 200 candles. So the 200 moving average now is starting to come out, because we've printed over 200 candles, and it's starting to, get some information on what it's doing. And we're seeing right now on a 1-minute chart, this is degen stuff, but today was what can we say? This is the times that we live in, right? And I guess we're tracking price, and we're making a little bit of history together, adding more videos to this platform, and spreading it all over. When, hey, what were you doing? We're live streaming. We're talking about this thing at $160, and we'll look back 5 years from now and see what this thing is trading at. Is it one of those .com moments where next this thing's trading at $1,000, and we all had this opportunity at 160, or was it better to short it right here at 160 and see if it went down to test some of those round numbers as of like going down to 100? I don't think it would go underneath that right away, but seeing if there is some sell pressure. But this is a 1-minute degen chart on space exploration technologies. Crazy. I got something for you guys. Let's jump right into it. Appreciate you guys pulling up. Sharing the stream is super important. Without you guys, it just can't happen, man. It just can't happen. So let's go into some of this stuff to get an idea, right? To get a feel. What is this stuff feeling like, right? Because it's a successful launch. And, we watch launches now. We watch token launches. We watch, NASDAQ launches. We watch rockets launch. And that's the time that we live in. That's what we're going to be talking about. And when people look back, they're going to say, hey, these were the people during that time that was seeing something go live like this. And at the same time, they launched a rocket. So little short video right here. Let's jump right into it.
It begins trading today on NASDAQ under the
I don't know if you guys can
ticker
hear it.
Spcx, in what stands as the largest public offering in the history of capital markets. As the home of innovation and the home of the innovation economy, NASDAQ is incredibly proud to be SpaceX's partner as it builds the physical and digital infrastructure of the future. Your mission is now backed by the financial engines of the public markets with access to every investor everywhere. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team. We cannot wait to see what comes next. And now please join me in welcoming SpaceX's President and Chief Operating Officer, Gwen Shotwell, for her opening remarks.
Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to be here. Today we make history again. We have a history of making history. So I want everyone to know that we did open this morning in a rather exciting way. We launched. Falcon 9 launched Starlink satellites to orbit. So what company would do such a thing on the day that they open in the public market? SpaceX would, right? I am so proud of this team. Today, this year we are 24 years old. Elon founded this company in 2002, initially to build rockets and spaceships that will take humans to Mars, the moon, and even beyond. We've not quite gotten to Mars. We're almost at the moon, but let's just quickly run through the amazing things that you guys have accomplished. 2008, 6 weeks after a failure of Flight 3 Falcon 1, we got the first liquid-fueled rocket to orbit from a private company. Yay. Yay. By the way, I should have prefaced this with everyone said we could never get to orbit. Check. But it was a little rocket. Then everyone said, well, you can't get a real rocket to orbit. 2 years later, we got a real rocket to orbit, Falcon 9.
The naysayers.
Oh, well, you'll never get to the space station, because that's what we really want to do, right? We want to take humans outside the bounds of Earth, but you'll never get astronauts to the space station. Check. We did that too. Doubters, right? You'll never fly Falcon 9 enough. You'll never get to production. 165 launches last year. Check. You'll never build a rocket large enough to take humans to the moon and Mars. We build one, we've flown it, and this year I believe we'll get to orbit with that vehicle, and we'll recover the second stage. We've already recovered the first stage and reflown it. So good on you all for that too. With the merger, the acquisition of XAI, we now as a group own the largest coherent gigawatt class compute on the planet, which will help us truth seek and understand the universe. So congratulations to all of us for that. So we're about 22,000 strong. I'm super proud that over half of us actually bought additional stock in this opening, totaling almost $1 billion. So thank you for that too. But really the thank yous go to all of you for hanging in there, for keeping a straight spine as the doubters doubt, to achieve historic things, sometimes every day, multiple times a week. Thank you, all of you, for doing this. And I hope today is a day that you feel great about and that you're celebrating. Take a moment. Now, the Falcon Recovery Team can't take a moment today, but everybody else can. And I hope Falcon Recovery Team could take a moment a little bit later. Yep. And also, thank you to the families, the partners, the plus ones, the children, the brothers, the sisters, the parents that have lived through long nights, that have seen launch failures, that have seen AI compute go down, that have seen kind of the trials and tribulations of this incredibly difficult business. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I know I can't do this without my incredible partner and husband too. I know you all have been a great source of support for all the SpaceX team, and you are a huge part of this success too. So thank you for that. I haven't mentioned Starlink and Starlink Mobile yet. We're probably connected through that. So incredible team to do that, connecting those that are unconnected. And I'm really excited about the future of that. In fact, as I was meeting with like literally almost 1,000 people in person over the last 2 weeks and almost 100,000 through telecommunications, hopefully on Starlink, what was clear to me as I was talking about the future and they were asking questions about what we'd achieved and what we're going to achieve, what was clear to me is that we are just beginning. It might feel like a long haul, but it's going to be even more exciting going forward. So thank you again. I want to introduce my boss of 24 years, the chairman of this incredible company, the CEO of this incredible company, and the chief designer of this incredible company, Mr. Elon Musk, who is in Starbase, Texas, and he's celebrating there with 4,000 or 5,000 people. Thank you so much.
Right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at all the people happy, boy. Woo. We gotta soak this in. It's a little history. We gotta. There's some alpha in between this stuff, you know. There's some alpha. We gotta put it in our journal, in our YouTube journal, fam. Take some notes. A little bit of note taking.
Well, thank you, Gwen. Gwen Shotwell's been an incredible partner, and was one of the first people to join the company. And so thank you, Gwen. Oh, she's in New York, of course. Where is she? Yeah, it is certainly hard to believe that a little company that started in a warehouse in El Segundo is now going public for with the largest IPO that ever. And let me tell you, if people had told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack. Because
that's crazy.
I think this company's going to fail. I mean, I gave SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all, to be clear. In fact, I told people this. I said, look, we're probably going to fail, but we should give it a try, because if we don't, if there's not a new company that enters space, we will never be a truly spacefaring civilization. While the other aerospace companies, they build good rockets and everything, they were simply not pursuing the technology that's necessary to make life multiplanetary, to make Star Trek, to make the exciting science fiction futures that we've read about real. And that's what SpaceX is all about. It's to take the fiction out of science fiction and create an exciting, inspiring future for everyone. We want to be able to take anyone who wants to go to the moon, anyone who wants to go to Mars, or anyone in the solar system, and maybe beyond the solar system at some point. We want to be able to take you there. Not just a few astronauts. I mean, you, literally you. If you watch, whoever you are watching this, SpaceX wants to be able to take you to the moon, take you to Mars, and ultimately beyond.
Sound like a crypto, bro. We're going to the moon. We going to the moon, baby.
That with the incredible team
that's it
that we have here at SpaceX, that we will do that for you. I always think about this. There are always problems on Earth. There are always problems on Earth. There are always things that we wish to be better, that we want to solve here on Earth, and we should solve them. But there also have to be things that get you excited about the future, that make you glad to wake up in the morning, because you can't wait to see what happens next. And that's the future that SpaceX wants to bring to you. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Bullish. Confetti falling. Everybody's happy. There were so many cheers and happiness and more happiness. This has been the talk, man. This is what has been kind of what was going on with this, right? So you got this SpaceX IPO definitely getting everybody's attention. you could be patient on this as well and just see how these things work out, because there's just not that much data on it, right? We're over here looking at it on a 1 minute chart, because it's just so brand new. So, how's it going to look when the indicators start to actually have enough information for, to give us some kind of idea, some data on what kind of trend are we in, right? And even looking at the hourly chart, we just use some standard stuff and nothing too fancy. Is this something that we're looking at later on? Can it come down here to where it was before? Do we have a little thing? This is the hourly chart. Like I said, is it going to trade down here again and then break out and try to chase going after that 200, or does it go lower from this point right here? And yeah, it's definitely the topic. We're going to be talking about this nonstop. I think this is going to be something that it's involved in crypto now. It's here. We know that they hold a ton of Bitcoin as well, and now we're just seeing this thing come to life right here. So we'll keep an eye on this. I want you guys to stay tapped in. We're going to go through Spcx. Of course, we got 8 days left. Those who are paying attention, I even got ahead of myself, because like I said, no real sleep schedule. So got one of the next ones early on the post for tomorrow already, and I accidentally used that media, and then I had to go adjust. Maybe nobody noticed, but we got 8 days left. We're right here at 160 on SpaceX, and we'll jump right into check on BTC really quick. See where we're at. And I've been shorting this one play every time it's popped up and kind of went kind of strong, I guess. It does have some really fast moves, so definitely be careful. But let's look at this. This is still on here. Let's just clean this up while we're right here. And then we'll check this one out called Beat. You guys can go ahead and pull it up on your chart if you want to get ahead of it. Well, we're going to look at a different ticker altogether, but might as well just have it ready for when we come back, because we'll be back at this chart. We'll be talking about some of this stuff for sure. And we've already have talked about it, right? So let's go to Beat. This is one that I've been looking at as well. You're going to find it right here, Binance Perpetual. Pumped up super strong. And this is the one that I've been kind of shorting, a little opportunities when, and kind of some degen trades, be completely honest with you guys. But when it's making these new highs, you see it have these corrections back to back. Like every new high is met with a decent correction. Now, when it gets back above, if you get a buy signal on this thing, you better respect it. There's a lot of pressure behind this. So there are where it does when it makes a new high, and today was $11.56, where you see kind of where it wants to come back to see if it's staying above our 200 moving average that we always talk about, right? But it's been pumping up. I've been trading it since around $7 or so, kind of this area over here where it got my attention. It would have been nice to find it earlier, somewhere down here at 340. That would have been awesome, but that wasn't the case. That would have been a cool, long to hold, easy buy signal from $3.40 all the way up to $10. Shout out to whoever caught that trade right there on Beat. But I would definitely keep an eye on this. The volume's, good. It's got a lot of attention. And a lot of these things, like we saw Zcash when they pumped up super hard, and after all this, it's like there's gonna be a moment where it has to come. Is it gonna come back down to $3.50? We don't know, right? But I've been keeping an eye on it, because there's gonna be a point where it has to retest something, $6.11, and it's been showing that on the shorter time frames that these pumps do come with a nice solid retest. And I don't want to chase this thing. Granted, I could have when it started to go up down here, but I didn't know about it down here at $3 and something cents. I didn't see it till up in this section, and I saw it going up, and I was like, not gonna chase it. And literally it just shorted it right here. That was the short that you guys seen on my page, the first one. Let's go to it really quick. The first short, and then obviously there's this one, but the first one was just that, this 189, which it did hit 200. I was like, whatever, I couldn't screenshot at a time. It's not that serious. But right here, this was this motion. And then the other one was the start of this, which I could have held a lot longer looking at it, now, but we got other stuff to do. I didn't want to I could have held it longer, but I didn't. I didn't, right? Because it was still above this 200. I knew I was going to be streaming, doing some stuff. I don't need it pumping up on another screen on me, distracting me from what I'm doing. But it is one that I'm watching for, being able to snatch up like some of these gains that you see. The next one being that I could have held a little bit longer, 217. You seen it up here, 898. And granted, it went up to $11, but I had to wait for it to see that had stopped, right? Where it's breaking this trend and coming into this section, closing some candles underneath this kind of trend. And this is kind of, you shouldn't really be front running these trades because they can just go and turn right back around. But there's a lot of that sell pressure that wants to just continue that motion, that ebb and flow of, are we staying above this? Are we going underneath it? Are we peaking underneath it? Where it wants to pick up that data for this 200 moving average like it's done since way back here. I mean, it's very easily, you could have gotten down here if you somehow seen it and rode this all the way up. This would have been the first time you would have been like, all right, getting scared, but you would have been in since, $1.27. Now, granted, these things will pop up on your radar when you see them trending and stuff, especially when I see like stuff that's just popped up on a CEX and is popping up on the radar trading super hard. I'll tend to, here, I'll post this for you guys to be able to sign up to BYD-Fi as well for those who are listening. Let me know if you sign up and send me your UID number. We'll load it up. Send you guys some bonuses, some points you guys can trade with. But when you come over here to like BYD-Fi, and sometimes you see something like, that's the hot, and, well, like on your phone, it'll show you like, something's pumping really hard. Even if you went to like futures and you went to here and you were looking at, how do you do it right here? Oh, see, it's 24-hour change. These things that are now like super hot right here. It's like, at what point do you find, you see, it's like, there's going to be points where, when it popped up being super hot and it's still kind of hot from that, it's like, this is where I kind of just sit in the cut and just wait for where the short comes up. Because how many times when, Zcash was pumping, right? And we look at Zcash right now. Remember, everybody was like, oh, no, I wish I would have got more Zcash at a cheaper price. Well, what happened with Zcash? It was that crazy pump out of nowhere, right? That kind of extreme pump, like, whoa, what the heck? I was like, you're telling me there's not going to be like some kind of correction, things to be correcting. People can't wait. So here goes that correction. And now this is where people might be wanting to look at Zcash. It's holding this, 99 moving average right here, which is pretty strong. It did wick underneath there, but it's back above it. But this is a perfect example how sometimes you can just do the opposite of what, what's going on and find some of these that were running high. Here goes another example on the daily chart. Okay, hits a new high. We start seeing some red candles, some rejection, possible short on there. Boom. Sure enough. Let's look at another one, and just doing the opposite of what we're finding on, when it starts to make a lot of noise. This one's a little bit different, but it has been met with this. If we go to the weekly chart, it'll show, but look how long it was quiet. And then it popped up on everybody's radar, popping up to 26 cents from, all the way down to, 6 cents and popping up to 26 cents. Here goes your correction right there, right? And that's that kind of section right there where, like, when you practice that first mouse gets to squeeze, second mouse gets to cheese, that correction exists. And let's look at another one. Let's just look at some of these that are, they popped up for doing really good. We're looking at a daily chart. Here goes, Orca, nice little rally. Everybody's probably screaming about it. Orca's pumping really hard and the markets are being greedy. So you say, you know what? I'm going to listen to that old guy, Warren Buffett. Markets are being greedy. I'm going to be fearful. And bam, even on a daily chart, it losing momentum around that, if you use a 7 or 8 moving average. And on the daily chart, these candles that start to break up underneath that, that's what most trend lines are good to use. Like if you use something and you want to follow the trend, like a 7, 8, even 9, really, like that little area right underneath 10 is a sweet spot to be like, as long as it's trading above that, it's bullish. And when it got underneath that 8 moving average, you're seeing the trend kind of change, and none of these candles really could hold above it. And this is where you had it followed right underneath that trend line until now that it's breaking past all these moving averages at once. So now that it just made, like, coming all the way down here, this is where you'd be like, all right, I don't know, maybe you don't know nothing about Orca. You don't even care to know about it. but you're just saying, hey, this was nice little movement. We're having some nice breakout. It might be something that now is the long time. And you could do the same thing for the opposite side. It's a little bit more dangerous because it could be something that's dead. Oh my God, Velvet was a play that I brought early to everybody, and Velvet is just skyrocketing on BNB. It went to 300 and something million. I talked about Velvet super early, and obviously, here you guys go. It went all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of $1 million market cap, and bam, out of nowhere exploded. This is one we talked about super early, already like a year ago or more than a year ago. But here goes that explosion, and is met with that correction, right? And anybody who would have been like trading it on perps, seeing like all this motion, like when it first was popping up on the green side, and you would have seen it, oh my God, it's up so much. Somebody who found it on this side, you would be like, yep, I'm going the opposite way. And right here, you could do the same thing with, let's say, Banana S31, because it has a lot of volume or whatnot, right? I'd probably wait for it to go a little bit lower because it just broke through all these moving averages. This is pretty bearish. And look for it to come find some of this stuff over here. But once it does find some of this stuff and starts to, after trading down, starts to trade to the right, and these moving average start to get really close together and trade again, it could be where you're looking for, hey, soon I'll be looking at Banana S31 because it is a project with a lot of exposure, right? A lot of eyes on it. Let's look for another one. We'll get into Spcx in just a second. Appreciate you guys pulling up. Tapping in. There's a lot going on in the crypto space with SpaceX, BTC price action, utility being delivered this month, hot plays popping off. You guys don't want to miss out. Let's see another one that we've heard a lot about. So Siren, this might be one getting close to something that we want to pay attention to, but here it goes. At some point that thing had nothing but being on the green side, and everybody was like, woo, Siren, right? It was one of these at one point. After the last 24 hours, it's pumping up hard. You say, all right, cool. I appreciate that. Shout out to you guys. In the last 24 hours, it was going real nice. Cool. Here goes your Trump play that I would probably look at it now. Here goes your 99 moving average. Let's respect it how it respects it. Rejected, trying. Finally broke past 25 moving average, going up to the 100. If it can break that, this might be all that prolonged sell pressure could be ready to have, where it pops right back off, because it's not going to be dead. It's going to have some exposure. So we find another one. I think the top ones are kind of those easy ones that right when you see them, pop up on the hottest ones. It's like, here you go. You could chase it when it becomes one of those hot green ones. You don't think this was super green, and everybody's like, oh, it's about to go to $1. It's like you're trading futures, right? It broke this yellow trend line, this 8 moving average. It started trading underneath it. This is on the daily chart. You're not missing out on nothing. You're not getting the Lambo today, but maybe you'll get it tomorrow if you're just patient, right? And here goes your 4-hour. This happened way over here. This is the one that we would have seen that was that high. It's pumping up on everything. And this is your 4-hour. And eventually it broke underneath the trend and broke through this other moving average, cross, which is another little nice indication. You see right here when it did pull back, that yellow moving average did not break. The 8 or the 7, did not break through the 25, right? They stood separated, and it got right back above that, even this wick down. Look how far away that 7 moving average is at. And it came straight down to this moving average and continued to pump up. But this instance right here, where you see back underneath the yellow trend line and that yellow trend line breaking through a moving average, and even this, this is that first mouse, second mouse, because it, first mouse gets the squeeze, second mouse gets the cheese. This is where this action starts to happen. We're like, all right, I'm shorting it now. Just doing the complete opposite on what's these that are green, potentially turning out to be, red. Now I would not short it because now we're seeing where this is going back and coming up, maybe back up to 60 cents from 30 cents. This is why we would keep an eye on this, because we already seen this play out. We're indifferent to price. So, this being on top of this trend, we got all these moving averages that broke through. This is looking like, hey, maybe the trend is turning around for Sky AI. It's a trendy topic to talk about, AI stuff, right? Do I know anything about Sky? No, but I know that, this is a nice downtrend on the 4-hour chart, and now it could be the opposite, turning out where it's going that way. All righty. All right. Let's go to xpxpay.com. Come over here. You guys definitely check it out. Come through xpxpay.com. a lot of things to come over here, a lot of bullish things to happen. You guys don't want to miss out. Let me share this right here. Let me share it down below in the Pump Fun chat as well, because we got 8 days left, man. It's pretty bullish what's coming up around the corner. And no matter what the markets are doing, we've just been building. That's solid. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It's turned out to be a good thing that we've been doing that actually. That has turned out to be a good thing because we continue to open new doors. And I gotta say a big shout out to the XPX community. Thanks to you guys. We've been here. This is our month, 2-year anniversary coming up. Let's keep pushing this thing. Let's keep building. I also know that we got some new meta, some new alpha from the Smart DeFi team, and it's looking like that bonding curve is getting closer and closer to coming out, which that is super bullish. And we're looking really good on the BNB chain. We're looking really good on the Solana chain, and we're bringing utilities to both chains, and we're actually doing really, really good. And it's like I said, a big thanks to the XPX community. And now we're opening up another door, and I'm looking forward to what this door opens up more for us. As on the 19th, we're going to be releasing $1 million virtual cards that you guys can connect to your Apple Pay or to your Google Pay, and that's going to be extremely bullish for not just XPX but all of us in the space, right? So definitely stay tapped in and not miss out. Actually, I was on day 7. You see, I woke up and I got straight to work, and we got day 9, we got day 10, day 9, day 8, and day 8. You guys see that? Fam, I'm telling you, when every time there's a utility release, we're on day 7, okay? And I got the art for us. We'll publish it again. But that's what literally I before even breakfast, before even coffee, because I had it already, and yeah, it was making sense at that time. So next time we're gonna have a cup of coffee first. Tomorrow we'll be actually on day 6. Of course, I had to throw a monkey wrench in it, but it's all good. It's an honest mistake. But we'll be on day 6 tomorrow because today is technically day 7, as I can tell right here. And I think that's pretty hilarious to check that out. Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. So day 7 today. Mind you, this is no coffee. We'll have coffee in us tomorrow, and then so yeah. Man, I hope you get better, man. I hope you get better, man. Back issues are no joke. But yeah, day 7 today. We should be even more excited because we're 7 days away. I'll update it after the live stream just so it's clean on here. I had it already ready with the right image. I changed it because I had the right image for it, and then I changed it. And honestly, that was before coffee, but now I'm sharp as a point. I'm on 2 cups of coffee, and now I can just see, I can even feel how I felt. And I was like, oh, well, good dedication, Rico. Good dedication. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. Just, so damn, I should have got the coffee going. All right, but 7 days away, celebrating our 2-year anniversary, fam. June 19th. You guys can see it, right? And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And sometimes the days even get mixed up because all the time zones, but no real excuses, man. Just put it into work. I think the only excuse is no coffee. I think that's the best one. That's the best one we can have. So, on the 19th, whatever the flyer says, no matter what, on the 19th, that's what we're shooting for. We got things locked in for our anniversary, and letting everybody that has a passport, sign up, get their virtual card, and have that purchasing power up to $1 million. And I think that's pretty cool. And obviously it's, looks amazing for the space and for everybody that's a part of XPX. But I think the real cool factor for me is the infrastructure that it takes to produce this. And we're going to have this live. We have not only just been in talks to make stuff like this happen, we've been working on it for a while. Some people faded us, some people left for whatever reasons, but we just kept building. And, this is why it's important, letting the markets do what the markets got to do and staying focused on opening new doors for us. So let's start off on the BNB chain, because this is where things started off on. Shout out to Smart DeFi. We're really close to, having that bonding curve live. You got XPX top mover over here. You got the Space Penguins. You got the Smart DeFi Doge over here. All these things, top contenders right now. But XPX definitely doing its thing. Highest asset backing, only second to Feg token. second highest LP on Smart DeFi. We are cooking over here, and we're starting to climb in that right direction, everybody. You know, I think people need to see that we're right at 172K market cap. Soon we'll be over 200K all over again, and that climb to $1 million market cap and beyond is going to happen. And a lot of the reasons why a lot of people is going to get even more eyes on Spcx over here is, one, the bonding curve when it does go live. That's going to be epic, and just seeing all these new projects come over here, kind of like a pump fund, but for BNB. And they're going to see all the things that we've been building for 2 years: our cards, our non-KYC bill payments, our non-KYC gift cards, you know, and really giving people, you know, the access to non-KYC 10K limit MasterCards. And some people are going to check out our products and service, right? Because we're providing value to the marketplace. But also, as the Solana side on this continues to move up, I want you guys to understand that this is also designed to bring exposure back to, you know, not just XPX on the BNB side, but also all of Smart DeFi, because we've been tapping into people with these phantom wallets. We've been tapping into people that before were out of our circle and just not where we were at, fam. That was just the honest truth. And, you know, now that we've been over here, we have noticed there's been people who've openly gotten bags just because they're more bullish on Solana. So we're giving this project so much ammo. And, you know, when we get to $1 million market cap, and I know we got up really close, and of course, you know, you got people, you got the markets testing everybody, but look at where we're at now. You know, we're right back up there. And shout out to everybody who's just been loading up nonstop. The next leg up is going to be pretty insane. I'm just letting you guys know right now, we're going to break, you know, 500K and go back up to that 1 million. Everybody who you're DC, I want to, those bags can really turn into some crazy 6-figure, 7-figure bags as we continue to climb up. It's really easy to get a lot of attention on a Solana play because of the way things move. And right now we're close to that 300K market cap. We were down here at, you know, 74, trading sideways, trading sideways, trading sideways, and we're having a breakout. We have a buy competition going out. We got a utility release in 7 days that I posted 8 days again by accident when I already had the 7 days posted, but that's okay. And you can see the same line that we're at right here. This is kind of that level. And somebody told me yesterday, they're like, yeah, a lot of people who faded you at 300K, that's going to sting a little bit. And we're right there at that mark to break past that. And I know that we can. We got a very powerful community. There's more distribution now, you know, compared to the way that we launched it, dropping the CA and the Telegram, getting everybody access to this. But now is the time to accumulate this thing as much as you can. We've crossed well over $430,000 now in paid orders on what we're doing with the expanding of our utilities. I really think by the end of the year, possibly, if, you know, we're just going to keep putting in the work. We don't know, right? We're just confident in the work ethic that this can turn into a multi-million-dollar, you know, project overall, you know, whether on the BNB chain, on the Solana chain, the company overall, what we're producing. So you guys are extremely early. That's why I kind of wanted to play that Spacex as well. You know, you're going to have your doubters. You're going to have your, you know, you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's like, you just got to stay locked in, you know, and for some reason that really does produce something. You got the right people around you, like the XPX community, you know, really making moves with us, locked in. It's exciting, right? It's really, really exciting, and we're really putting this thing together. You know, we're gonna really hold it down over here on the BNB chain, and also hold it down on the Solana chain, and let everybody know what we got. When it comes to the BNB chain, we got a total of 57.7 BNB in asset backing. You know, the smart contracts are there. Go check it out. You know, load up on XPX BNB. You could take out a interest-free loan using the lending protocol, and then off-ramp it onto a card of your choice. That is crazy bullish. That is undervalue is all, you know what, right? And the same thing with the Solana side. You know, I've been really contemplating on turning on this feature that Pump Fund has released as far as it automatically using agents to do buybacks and burns. But I want you guys to, you know, get as much of this as you can, because, you know, Solana does have some really cool features coming out as far as bringing some kind of tokenomics to this side as well. And, you know, in a sense, that's a bit of tokenomics, right? That you can turn on these agents that'll start to do buybacks and burns automatically. So do you have enough XPX before that thing turns on? You know, have you accumulated, or are you looking at, you know, 300K when you should be thinking, you know, $3 million market cap, $5 million market cap, breaking 10 million, you know, sending it to 30 million, having so much ammo to bring so much exposure to also the BNB chain and to everything that we've been doing, you know, and really, you know, hyping this up. But this is the cook stage where you accumulate, where the dev is cooking, where we're delivering, and we're providing products and services that are, it's a necessity for the space. And we want to be good to our clients, right? We want to see how we can get better into space. And I think, this month proves that. And we want to keep striding to be better. Everything that we do as a project, it is for what we have been building, starting 2 years. This is not just an anniversary for XPX. I think it's an anniversary also for Smart DeFi, as far as, if you have an idea and you want to produce something, that you can come over to smartdefi.com, or you can come over to the bonding curve when it goes live, and you can set yourself a really solid foundation. And you can say, you know what, that I know that I have the type of support, that I have the right contracts, that I have the right tokenomic structure to support me to be able to scale my business idea, my vision, that had doubters, that had fudders, to really bring it to the table. And, so like I said before, this is not just, XPX celebration, but honestly, it's really a celebration and a test of time to the Smart DeFi contracts that really laid the foundation to how this all started. So give us a follow at XPX token. Like I said, I'll update this after the stream. It'll be the same post, just different picture. It happens. It definitely happens. And tomorrow will be, trust me, I will correct that. I won't even touch anything till I get coffee. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this stuff first. And it was like, nope. and I'm passionate about it, man. I'm driven, and I want to make things happen. And that's what we're gonna keep doing, doing it with the right intentions, doing it for the community, really, grassroots. You hear what Elon Musk was saying, that's a lot of people, that doesn't sound achievable, right? Next, it sounded crazy. He was going to have rockets flying around and stuff like that, and or this or that, right? And I've always said this, like, sometimes your ideas got to sound a little bit crazy. From the outside looking in, people got to be like, dude, why is he willing to just, like, right out of this thing? He went to, got off the Freedom Station after midnight, still bullish for whatever reason, getting closer to 1 o'clock in the morning, and then, waking up, 5 hours later and stuff, and so bullish, forget to get some, not even drink no coffee, and just jump right into it. It's like, you got to have that, because this is a massive opportunity. If you're a meme coin, if you're NFT project, if you're building in the metaverse, like, you got to have that, where when people from the outside looking in are just like, you know what, this guy or this girl, they're moving differently. It was sunny yesterday, it's pouring out rain yesterday or today, and they're still pushing forward. And that's what you guys can see from here. If you guys want to experience some of our utilities, we don't gatekeep these things. There's no hoops that you got to go through. Guys, come over here to xpxpay.com, go over to Crypto Bill Pay, and check out some of these utilities that you guys can use right now. And if you guys like these utilities, right? If you're like, yo, I just paid my electric bill, I just paid my mom's water bill, I just paid this, that, and the third, or I got a 100K limit MasterCard because I couldn't wait for the $1 million limit MasterCard that's coming out soon. I want that physical card. Well, boom, there you guys go. Or I want a 10K, non-KYC MasterCard, do all this online purchasing that I need to do. And you like these utilities so much, and you're like, whoa, this project's sitting at, whatever chain I might look at, it's at 300K on the Solana side. Or you're like, you know what, maybe it's going to pump up to 300K over here. Let me buy some on this side at 172. Or, let me load up on the Solana side, because most likely these guys are going to keep cooking with, over $430,000 in paid orders. We most likely will hit $500,000 in paid orders. Maybe by the end of the year, this turns into something, right? And I think it is. And so you're early, you're super early. And I want to let you guys know, you guys might think like, okay, I love the utilities, let me get a bag of this. This thing's undervalued as all heck. Let me just get a bag that I can just have a conviction play, know that I can sleep on it because they're cooking nonstop. They came back from down here because they're just dedicated and got an awesome community, headed right back up to $1 million market cap. Let that bag sit and use our utilities, experience the utilities, and ride this wave with us, right? We want to take this thing a lot higher. We're going to take this thing a lot higher. And you guys are all early because, Q4, Q5, we got more utility around the corner. So you're not missing out and be like, oh, they already delivered all this stuff. I'm missing out on all the excitement. There's not going to be nothing cool coming out for me to be excited about, and I'm going to miss out on that. That's not the case. I'm telling you guys, that's definitely not the case. We're already working on all the webhooks, working on all that stuff on the back end. We got some exciting things for Q5. So definitely stay locked in. There's going to be websites updates. There's going to be all kinds of things. There's a lot of things in the kitchen for XPX right now. All right, let's go to some fellow plays. I saw Pisson pull up, man. I got to rock with people who pull up like that, rocking for their bag, no matter what market cap you're at, bro. If you're working for your bag, if you're grinding for your bag, props to you, man. Sitting at a discount price, holding the same level, man, holding a solid level right around here at that 16K market cap. And you guys don't want to sleep on these. You know, this is kind of where those gains are made, where people are being a little bit too timid, but you can't just always invest into the PFP. You know, you got to invest into the guy that's willing to pull up to the live streams, that's willing to pull up to the spaces, that's willing to engage, you know, wherever it might be for what they have ambition about, right? Funny, serious, anything in between. This is the type of people that you want to say, hey, you know what? I like this. Let me, you know, my budget is 1 Solana or my budget is 2 Solana or whatever my budget might be. You don't want to miss out on that. I didn't even notice we weren't following you back, bro. My bad. Sometimes XP I'm following too. You know, you gotta, I've seen that many, many times. But let's refresh this. So here we go. Like as I was saying, you know, it acts up. You know, you just seen it live right there. It acts pretty funny. So 4 hours ago, today marks 100 days since Piston was launched on Pump Fun. He is still going strong and has no end in sight. Today, we celebrate because tomorrow we continue to grind. No rest for the wicked. Thank you, everyone that has supported over these 100 days. Let's freaking go. Let's go. There's nothing wrong with feeling like that, man. I want us to have fun in this space. And this is a fun play for sure. Pistons a solid dude. You've seen him everywhere. I'm not sure how many times I could say that live, but definitely check this play out. You're going to see him in spaces. You're going to see him popping up on the live streams. You're going to see him everywhere. And maybe you'll see this thing having a breakout. You know, it's all-time high with 64K market cap. You could definitely see that happen again. It doesn't take that much in crypto to, you know, get it to pump up and where people are like, whoa, what's going on? Why did this start doing that, right? So keep an eye on that right now. Let's go into some more plays. If you guys got some things that you guys want me to check out, anything, oh, nice, man. Shout out to that, man. Definitely get it back. Let me show that too, man. Definitely load up. Definitely load up, bro. You're super early, man. You're super, super early. And I'm telling you that, like, right now, like, there was that nice leg up and everybody's like, whoa. It's like, never doubt, bro. Don't, okay? When I tell you we're just getting warmed up, there's going to be more to come. You know, this is where when it gets quiet, you quietly keep snatching up positions and just keep entering little by little. Let those who traded for a 2x, 3x, let them do what they got to do. That didn't work out last time. That was not the recipe last time. So DCA, you know, I've gotten DMs from people already that they bought XPX on the dip. And like I said, not just because of the PFP, not just because of the utility. They straight up told me, hey, Rico, I know you. I know you're dedicated. I know your community's awesome. And you know what? I just literally DCA'd into that. He was like, it was one of the best moves that I did. Literally, you know, and I want everybody to be happy. I want people to, you know, experience this part of crypto. And you want to find people, not just the PFP, that are willing to grind for your bags nonstop. I'm going to show some love to Thierry as well. This is another community that you can see always working for their bag. You got the dev team grinding for those bags as well for everybody. Just had a nice little run up back to its all-time high at 355K market cap. Little correction, nothing to be really concerned about when you've seen, you know, it going up to 337, coming down to 15K market cap. Everybody who faded it and did a DCA, somebody has a story right here as well, right? And it goes up and makes a new all-time high. So proof of how these things happen. And a lot of those people who have sold, they're into Telegram. So they start seeing this thing move out of nowhere. They're like, wait a minute, what happened? I thought they were crying in the casino, right? And Ben Billings is like, no, I'm not crying in the casino. Lisa's like, no, I'm not crying in the casino. And these are the people that you gotta pay attention to, because even with people selling right now, I already know that he's not going to stop. I don't have to be looking at or checking out my Thierry bag because I can see it going into the millions. You know, I could see that. It's just shaking people out because this is the kind of market that we're in right now. But eventually, as distribution continues to happen and more of the chads and chadettes continue to accumulate, the floor gets higher and higher and higher, right? And this is a play that has proven that So definitely give Ben Billions a follow. Also give Lisa a follow. Give Nero a follow. We'll show them all some love. So like that, you guys don't miss out on the alpha with this play. No crying in the casino right here. You got Ben, you got Nira, and you got Lisa, right? Let's go to Nira as well. They might have her at handle here. No, they don't. Okay. Well, let's show Nira. We also got the Weester people. We got Saiyan. That's a play. We've been seeing a lot of Super Saiyan stuff, a lot of Goku stuff, a lot of bullish things, right? Market is still there, right? It's still there. It's still definitely there. Let's go to Nira. I think it's with an I. Yeah, Crypto Nira right here. Also give her a follow right here. And like I said, you're going to see a lot of that no crying in the casino. And they proved it. You know, this is where like sometimes you'll say something like that, like there's no crying in the casino, right? And that's your mantra, but you'll literally be tested for your own mantra, right? Like wherever you draw the line in the sand, you know, I've been there before, right? And it's like, but it's good because if you pass that test, check that out. They didn't cry in the casino. They just continue to work for their bag, continue to grind, and boom, you got this right here. You got a solid community roaring right now. You know, if you liked it when it was pumping up and you were looking at it, these are those discount prices. Maybe you see it, you know, give you a cheaper discount because it did come down here before. But, you know, you also don't want to miss if it just starts to pump up out of nowhere because there's a breakout where it happens around this 500K where it's like, oh, they're going to 1 million. And this is a good meme. You know, this is a good meme if it started pumping up really hard over 1 million and started doing kind of that Solana breakout, that I think people would like this meme. You know, I actually seen somebody at the BTC conference with this tattooed, you know, because this is a phrase, right? They tokenized it. But, you know, being here in Vegas, you know, you see people with, you know, especially OG phrases like no crying in the casino, like this one is right here. It's just finally tokenized on the blockchain. And that's what we're doing right now. A lot of things are being tokenized and put on the blockchain, right? So really, really cool. And yeah, really, really cool. So this is Thierry right here doing really good. We're gonna go through some top 10 tickers. We rolled over the hour mark. Hopefully you guys are having fun. I didn't even notice, you know, because finally I did get the coffee. I drank 2 cups of it and I was like, let's go. I was ready before the stream started. So we got Moon, Mars, Beyond. Okay, Moon, Mars, and Beyond. Pumping up at 100K market cap. We got the Knicks. Did you guys watch the game? Let me know. We got Sun. What up, Sun? What up, Sun? We got Spacex play, 1.8 million. So did this one pump up hard at some point? Yep. Ooh, it did the 10 million thing. It did the dance, fam. We'll keep an eye on this one just for pattern's sake. You know, none of these are, you know, they could be here today and gone later, not even tomorrow. It didn't get quite to 10, but it did get up here. We'll put it at 10. Keep the pattern right there. This is, but now it's back down here, 1.8. I would keep an eye on it on 1 million where it's wigged down to it. Maybe this thing could be a play. You know, this thing could be a play where, you know, it starts to pump back up because it's definitely got a lot of attention. Ooh, account suspended. All good, all good. Account suspended. Check out the website. Is it funny enough to go higher? Okay, SpaceX, little vampire guy. So he's a vampire. Got it, got it, got it. Okay. White paper. Got a little more vampire look to him. A little, you know, Neo a bit. A little John Wick with it. Little Neo Wick. Oh, man. All right. So going through the top 10 plays, just looking at stuff. Dragon worm. There you guys go. What is it? A dragon and a worm with some troll girls. 1.5 million. You might laugh at it, but it's doing stuff. It's doing stuff. These got real eyes on them. You know, these early ones, you know, obviously anything can happen, but once those things start moving into the 100K market caps, you know, even past 50, bonding curve and things like that, you know, it's starting to get more eyes on it. Let's go to maxing. We haven't checked on maxing in a while. Okay. So it was trying to do that. It did do it for a little bit, but I think, like I said, maxing's not one of those narratives that's going to go anywhere. Here we go. All this action down here. We're here again. Is this the section where we get maxing before it rides up to $5 million market cap again? Because we know Solana can easily get the maxing on you. And people are doing all kind of maxing looks, and they got you maxed out. Then you're maxed out, right? So maxing, keep an eye on this one. Let's check on manifest as well. That was another play to check on. Let's see if they're still manifesting. So are you guys still manifesting? Yeah, they still manifesting. Oh yeah, they're still manifesting over here. This is the power of a community on the same page right here. Let's go. Let's go. They're manifesting. They're manifesting. Look at this. Markets was scary. IPO. Everybody's chasing the IPO. It was bouncing at 25 million. New all-time highs, 33 million. The manifestation is real, man. The dedication has to happen. You got to embody this. It works. Let's all take a second to manifest what we want, man. Spcx to the moon. Manifest to the moon. Spacex to the moon. Your favorite meme coin to the moon. Your favorite NFT to the moon. To the moon, to the moon. Let's see if it happens. Manifest, man. Shout out to them, though. They are definitely manifesting. So Rico, chill out, chill out, chill out. All right. Runway clear. Fuel loaded. Prepare for liftoff. Sheesh. Ooh. 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 Prepare for liftoff, fam. Uh-oh. Prepare for liftoff. Are you guys feeling that bullish right now? 7,000 holders. Sheesh. Popping up on the radar. Definitely on the radar. This is when doors start to open up. Exchanges start coming up to you like, hey, how are you guys? Hey. You know, you get that message from an exchange. The biggest exchanges are going to hit you up like, hey, how you doing, Manifest? So cool. I can see the light. I can see Valhalla. I'm going that way. I'm going to manifest it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing to see what's being done here. Sheesh. Come a long way. We got this in our house now. Golly. We got it in the crib. All right, man. If you guys got any plays you guys want me to check out, man, this is a crazy bullish stream. Definitely be ready for some things to come. You know, markets could have found the floor. You know, we're seeing manifest definitely found the floor. Maybe the whole market's like, okay, IPO stuff is over. Time to, you know, rotate back into crypto. Let's get on Hyperliquid and chase the SpaceX. You know, let's just trade crypto. Ooh, look at that short, man. I could have stood in that short. It would have been monsterish. Oh my. That's all right. That's okay. That's not bad. Crazy though. Thing from $11. I'm telling you, these things happen from these. You know, you go over here, you go to beat. That's what I was showing you guys. You know, that was the thing. Oh, did I mess up? Beat. See? Like, okay, they were happy. It's like all these new all-time highs. It's gonna come with some kind of correction. 1158. It's like that was, you know, it was popping up all on the green radar. Now what radar is it on now? The red one. But that was over here on the green. You know, that was the one. It was like, woo, it's on the green. It's over here. It's beat. It's like, all right, okay. Not gonna do it. But this is BTC daily chart. You know, even right here, you can see we got some work to do. Daily chart right here. This is the 100 moving average. It's been a while since we got above it. Right here, this is when we started having a little bit of fun, but we're back underneath it. So we still got some work to do on BTC. 4-hour chart. Look how clean that is. This break right here, this section is yours. Where is this at on BTC? $79,000, $80,000 BTC. 4-hour chart shorted. Boom. Down here. Now you're like, hey, I'm taking my profits. We're trading sideways, kind of uptrending a little bit, making higher lows. Maybe we keep, making higher low, higher low, higher low, break the 100. I'm going back bullish, right? And just being patient for those trades on your paper account, right? Because this is not financial advice. On your demo account, go get your demo account at BYDFi. You guys can go ahead and trade and practice on there, right? Why not? Solid stream, man. I do want to end this note on XPX thing. It is 7 days. I'll update it after the live stream. I got this stuff already ready. Like I said, no coffee, just rolled right into it. We'll get it updated. We're 7 days away, regardless. On the 19th, we'll be releasing some utility. You guys are super early. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You guys can see that we're a solid play and we're extremely undervalued. This is a perfect time to load up on us, on the BNB side before the bonding curve goes live and a lot more eyes come to, all things smart DeFi. And also over here on the Solana side and capture some of this upside potential and some of the things that are going to happen around that $1 million market cap that you guys are not going to want to miss out, where we take this thing a lot further, gaining exposure to our whole ecosystem and what we've been building for the last 2 years. Just like before when it was quiet, that's when you accumulate, because these things pop up out of nowhere. And that's going to be the next one as well. So thank you guys for pulling up, whole XPX fam, whoever stood up super late with me to rock with me on this live stream. I truly do appreciate it. Also, go check out justshopcrypto.com. There's going to be cool things coming to that in the future. So be patient on that, and we'll keep you guys updated as that, develops. But yeah, Bitcoin 2.17. Let's refresh it. Okay, we got Bitcoin. Nice little uptick, 63.5. Lower time frame. We got kind of breaking above the 200. We got some of that action, but be careful because it could flip really quick, right? And then we got, where's the SpaceX at right now? 160. Okay. Where's this beat that we've been keeping an eye on? 740. And yeah, so we'll be watching these. Maybe you guys should keep an eye on these tickers, put them on your favorites list, and just stay tapped in. You don't got to buy anything. It's free to watch this stuff. So just watch it, put a 200 moving average on there, or get your account through BYDFi. You guys can follow me on X and scan this QR code over here on my page. Scan the QR code and sign up and not miss out on any of this stuff. Just scan this with your phone and sign up to BYDFi. You guys can use this account. Wait for BTC. Say, you know what? I've been waiting this long. I'm going to wait for it to all these moving averages to break this 100 moving average, maybe even a confirmation on a 200 if I want to add that. But I could have definitely traded this, and so could have you. And when it turns back around, if this is the floor and we keep making higher lows, then we trade it to the opposite side, right? So appreciate you guys all pulling up. Fire stream. A lot of cool things. Definitely join the Money Bags Mansion as well. It's a Telegram group that you guys don't want to miss out on. And you guys can find that on my main page at Rico Moneybags. You got some of these TGs that you guys can tap into. Send me a DM. We'll give you access to the Moneybags Mansion. Send you that link so you can join us and not miss out on some really cool things as crypto continues to make some solid floors. Consolidate right now, trying to find its rhythm as everybody's watching, SpaceX and some other hot tickers that are popping up. So solid stream. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, could you take that trade? Break above the 200. Do we want to wait for a retest, right? Because we get a retest, right? A lot of times we get that retest. So I was like, can we wait for that retest for that confirmation? But yeah, put that 200 moving average on your Spcx ticker and keep an eye on it. Right now on the 1 minute chart, you can see all brand new data coming to life right now before your eyes. The first time that Spcx is live above the 200 moving average, because it's just now enough data. We're seeing it right now on the 1 minute chart where it just has enough to bring out this 200 moving average. And this is the first time that we're seeing Spcx break above the 200 moving average. Is that enough to drive it up to 170 again? Is there going to be some more whales loading up to push this thing to $200. We'll just have to wait and see. And it's definitely going to be a ticker that we'll be paying attention to on a daily basis. Let me know if you guys are going to be trading this on Hyperliquid or any other dexes where we can check this out. Let me know if you've even bought the IPO or you're just going to ignore this altogether. You hate everything about it and you're not going to touch it, right? Let me know down in the comments, those who are live, those who are watching this later on. Thank you guys for pulling up so strong. Give us a follow at XPX Token. Stay tapped into the latest and greatest. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys can't do that, continue to come back and experience the abundance of money with me. Until next time, you guys know what it is. Later, fam.
So your bag's backed up against the wall, and the bandwagon's falling right off. And you're hearing all the talk about maybe you should think about what you're gonna do if it don't work out. It ain't about if it makes sense, 'cause if the boot do, it don't fit. As far as I can see, there ain't no way to be somebody if you just gon' quit. So if you gotta fight